Okay, I believe I am good. Yes, I am good. Okay, so what do we have here? I'm going to be doing a video on the 737 Boeing, actually Boeing 737 jet, the Throttle Quadrant, and I had already actually built it, 3D printed all the parts and everything, and I just want to show you how I put this thing together. Let's go ahead and go into the image of the schematics. Um, let's see here. So before we do that, these are all the all the parts that I've created. I actually took this file from another um, engineer. I forgot the person's name or where I got uh, these files from, but what I've done, I took the files and I modified it to where to how it would benefit me into the different type of function that I wanted to do for this type of project. Okay, so like for example, let's click on this file right here. I've numbered these to 1000 to I believe it's 1000 through 1060, something like that. So if you notice here, um, basically what I did, I took a few of the files and I combined the parts together and I extended this right here and I just add a couple more features to it. These little circles right here, these are where the the bearings go, fits in. And I just modified it to where it would benefit me. So it actually goes through, oh, 69 different parts. Um, yeah, so here is the wiring. So what we have here, see if I can zoom in on this here. We have one, two, three, four, six potentiometers, three relays, two large servos, four button switches, two toggle switches, one LED light, and I believe that's, yeah, 5 hinge switches, and two uh, micro servos, mini servos. And this is what I've done. I've used the Arduino Leonardo for the controller, gamepad for the axis to control the throttles, the speed brake, and the flaps axis. And for the Mega right here, we're using the Mobi Flight software. And let me just take you through how I got this set up. So for the Throttle Quadrant gamepad controller, the Arduino Leonardo, I have all the auto throttle buttons, the auto throttle and the auto throttle engagements, and I also have the reverse thrust on potentiometers acting as buttons or switches. So yeah, just those 5 pieces of hardware, 2 potentiometers and the 4 buttons are going to the uh, the Arduino. And on the bottom here, I have the potentiometers for the 2 throttles, the speed brakes or spoilers, and the flaps going to the analogs. Okay. Now for the bottom here, for the Mobi Flight, I have lots of hardware going into these. Um, the the fuel switches. The top one is for open and the bottom one for close. Those are going. Um, the the large servos. These are controlling the automation for the auto throttle. the handles, the thrust are servo driven, and it's controlled, triggered by the relay. And the relay is actually connected to the preset for the the throttle hold. Okay, and the same for throttle two, engine two, and also the engine two fuel cutoff valves. Okay, and if you see here, I have the lines drawn, the wires drawn into the pins that are being utilized. Okay, and for the trim indicators. So basically, the trim indicators, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's go ahead and go to the the actual um let's see how I can do this. Let's go ahead and go to the actual throttle quadrant so I can show you what that would look like. Um, let's see here. Where can I? Oh, there we go. We'll just go through matter control. This is the software that I've used to modify the parts. Let's see. Open. All right. So hmm, it's taking a bit long to load up here. All right. All right. So the trim indicator would be this this needle right here. All right. And for the right side, it would be that one. And I will also get into detail how I constructed this and the parts that's used inside the throttle quadrant. And let's go back to the schematics. Um, so yeah, so that's what these two servos control. It controls that trim indicator needle. Okay, and I also have the wiring drawn to where those wires need to go. All right, and for the parking brakes, okay, there's the hinge switches. It's kind of in an angle. This is the best place I could locate this in order for that arm to go down and put pressure on that switch. Okay, and the LED light is also going to MobiFlight software. Now these two toggle switches right here, this is for the trim wheel cutout. This isn't really actually used on Flight Simulator X. They don't actually have these switches automating in the flight simulator, but however, it does work on the actual throttle controller. So what I've done, I just made these two switches connected to the stepper motor, and it cuts the power off for the trim wheel, what they call it, when the trim wheels gets out of control. There's a terminology for it, but I forgot it. It's oh god, trim. Uh, it'll come back to me. But anyway, whenever your trim runaway. That's right. So whenever your trim run away from you, you can actually disable the trim wheel by uh, flicking these two switches off, and it actually works. So this is the power supply that I'm using for the stepper motor. This controls the trim wheel. Okay, and this is the relay. I have the relay going to this right here, and also let's see here. I kind of forgot how I wired this thing up. So you do have a preset for this, and what it does, it looks for the main autopilot. When the main autopilot is engaged, it will send a signal and it will move the stepper driver, all right, and the stepper motor. Now this is the NEMA, I believe the NEMA 17 motor here, and this is the driver that I'm using to control it. Okay, and I also indicate which pins that the stepper motor goes into right there. Okay, so the throttle quadrant works pretty well. It mimics everything. I will include that video. Hopefully the video won't be too long, but you will see this project play out here. Everything's functional. The only thing that's not automated is the speed brakes. Normally, whenever you apply the speed brakes and then you push back on the throttle, the speed brake does not automatically go into the lock position. I have not yet to complete that, but sooner or later I will. But for now, that's not important to me right now. Okay, um, let's get into the throttle quadrant here, and I will break this thing down and show you how it is constructed. Okay, uh, of course this is the trim wheel. Um, I don't I don't actually I didn't actually print out the trim wheels yet, but I believe I can add it right now just to show you what that would look like. Um, I believe it's this part here, uh, 1069. Okay, so here's what the trim wheel looks like, and let's see here. I can actually put one side on just to show you how it would fit into place. Okay, and it will go on like so. All right, yeah, I'll just do this one on that side. Okay, so let me go ahead and take this thing apart and I will show you the gears. So I'm going to take off the left trim side, and what I have here are the gears. Okay, and like I said before, this is a stepper motor, so this is the gear that 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 goes on the shaft of the stepper motor. Okay, and the stepper motor bolts onto this bracket right here. Got four screws. All right, and this is the uh the flywheel. When you turn the trim wheel, it will spin this right here, which is like when you spin it manually. You have another gear right here that spins the this is an encoder, all right, and it's preset to Mobi Flight. It's an encoder which will give you the presets in order for it to trim up and trim down. Okay, and here whenever the autopilot is engaged and it's automatic trim wheel, um, it will spin. The stepper motor will spin this flywheel, which then spins the trim wheel. And I also have another gear that controls the other side of the trim wheel. So this gear right here actually runs across to the other side, that shaft right there, which spins the other side of the trim wheel. And there's the gear for that. Okay. Now that we got the trim wheel out of the way, I will show you what else we have here. So the bottom plate, well, first let's get rid of these covers here. We're going to get rid of all of these covers and we can show you the inside of this. Okay. So the trim indicator, it's controlled by a mini servo, and there's the gear for that. Okay, and it goes from left to right or forward and backwards. Okay, um, and this is where you would mount your Arduinos, the Mega and the Arduino Leonardo. Okay, and for the other side, same thing. All right, your trim runaway toggle switches goes in here. Let's take that off. Take off that bottom. And now we are left with the spoiler, the two throttles, and the flaps. Okay. For the spoilers, again, here's how it's connected, and this right here is the potentiometer. Okay, gear, and behind it, it's supposed to had been another servo, but I have not yet tackled that one. That controls that speed brake. And for your engine one throttle, before we do the engine one throttle, let's go ahead and skip that and go to the fuel cutoff valves. Okay, so this is how it's put together. Let's go ahead and drag out that entire assembly. All right, so you have your shaft here. Well, not actually a shaft, but a rod, and it pivots on a screw, and you can pull it up and down to open and close it. And this again is the potentiometer gauge. I mean, not gauge, I'm sorry, gear. And behind it is the servo. This is where you put the servo. Okay, and it's gear driven, and it moves that throttle lever back and forth. And the same principle for the throttle 2. Now here you have the flaps. Okay, the flaps are not servo driven; it's manual. I didn't see a point in making this one servo driven. So what I have here is the lever. This lever goes up with the spring. The spring holds right here, and the spring attached to the bottom. And you can pull it so you can get some resistance. And there's a screw that goes in this hole right here, which slides in between the grooves. Okay, and when you pull up on the handle, and you can shift the flaps up or down. Okay, so yes, this is how it's constructed. If you would like for me to send you these files, I will have no problem doing that. Um, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment below. And again, the reason why I'm doing this video because I have not yet to find a YouTuber that actually explain into detail and how to actually put this thing together. I'm sorry. My speech is kind of messed up right now. Especially for the stepper motor, they do have videos on stepper motor driven automation, but they no one's ever gotten into detail into how to wire it up or anything like this that I've seen. Now, however, there was one guy, you guys probably familiar with him. His name is Captain Bob. Very, very good YouTuber. He showed me a lot of things on how to wire most of this stuff up into MobiFlight. But he actually um, did a demonstration on a stepper motor, but it was the one with the 5 wires. I'm not sure if it's a bipolar. It's one of those miniature stepper motors that come with the Arduino kits. Those things was not strong enough for me. It's probably strong enough to push the trim indicator right here, but not actually strong enough for the trim wheel. So I had to come up with a stronger motor, which was the NEMA 17 stepper motor. If you don't know what that looked like, you could probably Google it. Um, I'm not sure if I actually have one in my library right here. Um, let's see. Actually, nope, I don't actually see one. But, however, uh, the stepper motor is basically the same type motor that they will use for CNC machines. Um, it's called a NEMA 17. But yeah, I will be including the other video on what this throttle quadrant will look like in action. Okay, thanks for watching.